first grade, second grade, and anyone else that wants to follow along. We're going to make a shaker box. That's what I call it. Other people call it something else. I call it a shaker box. And we're going to paint with the box, and we're going to do it in the style of Jackson Pollock. Jackson Pollock is an abstract expressionist. Abstract meaning something that's not representational. Something you wouldn't really see in real life when you're walking around in nature, talking to other people. Okay? Expressionism means something that's showing emotion, like happiness or anger, right? When you're angry, sometimes you just kind of brush away with your hand like that, or when you're happy, you throw up your hands in joy. That's the kind of brushstrokes that abstract expressionists like to make. Things that go like this, things that go like that, right? Jackson Pollock, abstract expressionist. He is also into automatism. Automatism is a style of painting where you leave things to chance. All right? You don't really plan it out. You just kind of let it go. And finally, he's an action painter. He would paint with these huge, huge canvases. And they were so big. And he didn't want to plan it out, right? He wanted to use these big, abstract, expressionist kind of brushstrokes. So he dripped his paint on. So it was all these weird swirly motions and things like that. This project you're going to do, you're going to make something that's in the style of abstract expressionism, also in the style of automatism, also in the style of an action painting. So what you're going to need is a box. If you have an ordinary box, that will work great. A box that would hold a piece of paper that can open up from the top. If you don't have one, grab a cereal box, right? My cereal box is not big enough to fit this paper in. So for me, I'm going to have to cut this paper a little bit along the side so that it fits in perfectly. You might have to do the same thing if you use a cereal box, unless you have like a family-sized cereal box. So you're going to need the box. You're going to need the piece of paper. You're going to need paint, right? You're going to need a brush, something to put the paint on. Balls. You can use bouncy balls. Marbles are the best. If you have marbles, I would use marbles, right? So I'm going to use ping pong balls because that's all I have with me right here at the house. So you're going to be putting paint onto the ball, putting it in the box with a piece of paper, and you're ready to go. You're also going to need tape. I'm going to take 1, 2, 3, 4 pieces of tape. Because when I do this painting, I don't want this paper to move around. And you will be moving around. So I'm going to put a piece of tape in each corner of my paper. Now what I'm making are tape turtles. This is the name that I've heard. You take the tape and you curl it around so it's sticky all the way around the piece of tape. And I'm putting one in each corner. Ta-da! So that it's like that. If you're using a cereal box, don't slip it in like this. Flip it upside down like this, right? And you're going to put that paper in this way. Once it's in, flip the box over, put your hand in, and then you can press your tape down from the inside. If you do it another way, the tape might stick to the box. But if you have a regular box, you don't even have to do that. Just open it and stick the piece of paper right in there. Got my box. Got my paper in the box. Now I'm going to start painting the ping pongs. So I'm going to get, I'll go with purple. Let's get some purple. And I'm going to paint some purple on half of the ball. You don't have to do the entire ball. I wouldn't either. If it's a marble, you can paint the whole thing because it's small. These are very large. So if I put too much paint on this when I put it in, it might make the painting look muddy, and I don't want it to look muddy. So there's half the ball painted in purple. I'm going to throw that in there, and I'm going to take pink. Let's get the pink. So I put 4 in there. Now again, if you have marbles, a smaller ball. You could paint that whole thing. You can dip it in paint and pop it right in the box. If you have a larger ball, like the ones that I have right here, I would just paint half of it and toss it right in. Okay, so the next thing you do is you close the box, and I'm going to tape the box shut because I don't want this to fly all over your homes. I don't want to get emails from families saying, I have marbles with purple paint all over my cabinets. Mr. D, can you stop? So please, tape the box shut. And the last thing you're going to do is you're going to get your favorite type of music and you're going to dance with this box, all right? I suggest not flipping it over, okay? You can move it this way, you can move it this way, you can hang it up and down. So play your favorite song and start bouncing this box all over the place. Well, let's play some music, shall we? Okay, I'm exhausted, all set. All told, it really only took me about 30 seconds. It might take you about a minute. It's okay. You can do a couple of these, play around with the time, see what happens if you do it for 5 minutes, see what happens when you do it for 1 minute, right? I am now opening the box. Now I have ping pong balls in there, so what I'm going to do, instead of going in and grabbing them, let them all fall in the container, and the ball looks pretty cool. That looks neat, so I think I did a good job in there. Now to take it out, I've got that tape on it, right? So depending on the type of paper you're using, if you're using regular copy paper, you gotta be really careful because the paper might be wet now with the paint, so you just want to rip it right out. What you're gonna have to do is get your finger under the paper and so, oh, it just ripped just a little bit in there. I can tape that back on. Take that tape off there. Get my hand all the way in there and see if I could feel that tape. Take that tape off and that tape off, and we got it. Ooh, not too it was the big reveal. It was the moment. Anyway, there you go. Not bad. Abstract Expressionism. All right, it's an action painting, and it is automatism. All right, so I left it to chance. The ball's bouncing all over the place inside the box, paint going everywhere, right? It's abstract. It doesn't really represent a specific thing. It's expressionism. I had fun, you know, throwing the box all over the place, let it bounce around. So it's very expressive looking, right? And it's also an action painting because I was moving the whole time. So there you go. Now, this is level 1. I want to take it to another level. If you'd like to, keep watching. Welcome to level 2. Level 2, I have a pencil and a scissor because I just drew something and then I cut it out. What I drew and cut out was a kitty cat, right? Got this cat running around here anyway. Might as well appease the thing. So I have my cat. I'm going to get a piece of paper, right? Size that goes in my box. And I'm going to put this cat in the middle of the paper, like that. Now, that other thing you made, if you made it, notice that there's a natural border going around the paper, okay? That's there because the balls that are in the box are round, and there's corners in the box, and the ball cannot get into the corner. And what you're looking at is where the ball couldn't go in the corner, and it makes a natural frame. So, if you go to do this and you cut something out, it could be a cat, a dog, any type of object, a rocket ship if you want to go with black and white paint, right? And you put it in here like this, make sure it's not up in those corner areas. So for this cat, I'm going to take my tape again, and I'm going to use a significant amount of tape to tape this cat down. All my tape on my cat. I'm going to stick this right in the middle. There we go. Now, I'm seeing a little bit of bubbling up right here. I can't have that, so I'm going to take another piece of tape and see if I can put a little piece of tape in there to keep it down. Right there. Okay, that'll do it. Now I need my last 4 pieces of tape to keep my paper down inside the box. Now, although level 2 is still Abstract Expressionism, I am putting an actual thing that represents something. There's going to be a cat in there. So it's not purely Abstract Expressionism. I'm changing the game a little bit. I'm using it to see something that I know. There we go. Now I'm going to put this in there, and I'm going to put it in upside down again, because my box is different than a regular box. I'm going to flip it over, and I'm going to push down the corners of my paper in there. I think I got it. Alright, so I didn't wash these off because I know I'm going to use them again. So I'm going to take my white paint, start putting my white paint on there. Half of the ball, because the ping pong balls are fairly big and I don't want it to look muddy. Oh, that's nice. There we go. Goodbye, white. Now close the box. Alright, all that's left to do is to do a little dance. Remember, this way, up like that. Don't flip it upside down, not necessary. You can go in circles, perfectly fine. Let's start boogieing. Alright, all set. Here we go. It's my favorite part, is opening it up. Alright guys, there we go. I'm going to take my hand, put it underneath, try to carefully peel it up without ripping it. I hope you guys have access to thicker paper. It really does help. There's one down there. And might have a rip in there, I'm not sure. It's feeling funny. No, came out pretty good. Alright, so there I have it. This one has less lines around it. I like the older one that had the nice lines. This is a little thicker, but it's cool. Still looks very action looking, right? Now the cool part is to take that cat out of there. Again, have to be pretty careful about it. A cat with the abstract painting in the background, right? There was some automation going on, and it was still an action painting, right? There is something representational. So maybe I would take the abstract out, just call it expressionism, right? Because I see something that I can recognize. It represents a cat. So it's really not abstract anymore. So we went from abstract expressionism to expressionism. Alright, if you guys did that one, and you would like to go to level 3, we can go to level 3. But before that, I want to show you something else. This is what we ended up with, but what I wanted to show you also is that you could pop it out by coloring the inside of it once it's dried, okay? I did a cat. You don't have to do a cat. Do any animal, any type of object you want for this level 2. I also did an emoji. They kind of pop out quite well, especially a silly one with that kind of background around it. I use purple, pink, red, and white. Use any colors that you guys want to do. So just wanted to show you that you can alter these in any way you like, any way you see fit. Okay, it's wide open for you. All right. Okay, welcome to level 3. Level 3. Regular piece of paper. Now, instead of cutting out the cat, have the cutout of the cat or any other object that you want to make. All right. So when I cut out the cat, I did it very carefully. Okay. In order to cut this out, you have to be very careful with what you're using. You can start with a pair of scissors, obviously. What I would do is I'd fold it and then cut along that line first just to get the hole going. You can also use an X-Acto knife, but that's for the adults to use, okay? So if you can get this negative space out of there, you can do level 3. And it's essentially the same stuff as you did before. It's just that you're kind of changing the game a little bit there with how it comes out. So I'm going to attach little pieces of tape around the part that I cut out. I need pieces of tape on each corner again so I can push it down inside of the box that I'm going to use. All right, all set. So I'm going to drop it in upside down again. Flip the box over. Make sure it's not hugging the back. And now I'm going to tape the 4 corners down so that I know it's in there. And once again, I'm going to take the paint and I'm going to put the balls inside of the box. Close the box, tape it up. I don't want those emails. Okay, and again, you're going to start dancing with it. Let's do the dance. Okay, all set. Let's open this thing up, see what we got in there. All right. Carefully take this paper out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Came out a lot easier this time. Now that paper's out, I have to disconnect this paper also. I got a little bit of paint in my hand. I don't want to get any paint in spots where it doesn't belong. Okay. Almost there. I'm going to let that fall and get this side next. That's okay if that paper rips. I don't mind that at all. All right. And yeah, there's Kitty. All right. And again, you don't have to use a cat. Use any object you want to. And once this is on here like this, now I'm looking at that tail, right? And I'm seeing that it's really not popping out that much. You could go into it a little bit, all right? It's not going to hurt. If you could get in there and knock some paint in there with the ball or with a paintbrush, just a little bit, it'll start popping out a little bit more, so you could do a little bit of touch-ups if you need to. All right, and again, just like the cat that I had here, where I colored it in on the inside, I could do whatever I want with the outside with this one. Okay, so use your creativity. Okay, guys, that's it for this week. Send me your stuff if you make anything, and I guess the last thing to do would be the traditional DDN cup, clink, and drink. All right, guys. Again, how is this happening? What is going on? I mean, seriously, what in the world? Come on, man. What is going on?
He still doesn't know.